So this is a Kitech. It's a Kitech plug pipe, 3/4 inch Kitech pipe. Kitech is no longer in use, but Kitech is similar to PEX, but it's not exactly PEX. So sometimes these connectors like this require special connectors for Kitech, but Kitech is no longer in use. In fact, there was a lawsuit, and I think there were a lot of people who claimed from the class action lawsuit, and I think they won the lawsuit. So anyway, this is old Kitech plumbing pipes. This is a Kitech kind of a fitting. This is my water heater, which is leaking. It's actually leaking from multiple places. It's a 16-year-old water heater, which is gas water heater, 40,000 BTU, 40 gallon. This is the short version. So I already purchased a water heater from Home Depot, a Ream water heater. It's a 40 gallon, also short. Short is something like 47, 49 inches, something like that, as opposed to a tall water heater which goes higher up. Anyway, so I purchased a new water heater, but I have to make sure I have all the right fittings to install it. I think the new water heater will come with its own thermostat, which is a thermopile, not a thermocouple. Um, yeah, so it'll be like electronic control thermostat. I think Ream comes with a residual thermostat, electronic. Anyway, so this is the state select, which is leaking. It's 16 years old, so obviously really old. So it's leaking from the top. Actually, it's started with, the water was actually coming out of the home, on the side of the home, from a pipe on the side of the home, and that pipe was actually coming from this tray, overflow tray. It was coming out from that pipe and going all the way to the side of the home, to the bottom near the foundation. There are two pipes actually. One of them is comes from this tray overflow pipe, and the other pipe comes from this temperature pressure relief valve. So both of them lead out of the home, and the white pipe was actually there was water coming out of the white pipe from the side of the home. And then when I came back upstairs in the attic, I noticed that the tray was full of water. Initially, I used a pump to pump the water out of the tray, and then I cut off the water supply, and I shut off the gas to the thermo. I shut off the thermostat to the off position and turned off the pilot. So the water heater at this point is shut off, but there's still a leak coming from this pipe. So initially when I came up, it was all spraying out, quite a bit. There was water spraying out from this pipe over here, which is the cold water inlet pipe. And then when I looked closer, I noticed that this pipe had burst. So actually there was, if you notice, this water still coming out of here. So there's a couple of issues here. One is this cutoff obviously doesn't work completely, because when it's off, there shouldn't be any water coming out from the pipe into the water heater, but apparently there still is, because you still notice a gradual drip of water. So this was actually one problem, where the water is leaking from here and it's flowing down to the side of the water heater. uh, the other problem is that the water heater itself was leaking. So 16-year-old water heater, if it was just that leak from the top, this could have been replaced. The water inlet, it's a 3/4 inch 18-inch water inlet. So this could have been replaced if this was the only point of leak. But the water heater is also leaking from inside. There's a tank inside this outer tank, and the reason I know it was also leaking from inside is there was a gradual drip of water coming from the bottom over here. And if you notice, this thing here is like kind of rusty, and there's water dripping from here. And what I did is, when I opened up this cover and I touched the insulation from in here, this yellow insulation thingy, um, I noticed it was wet, the insulation from inside. So that means that the leak is internal to the tank, and so obviously the tank must have cracked, or it might have developed a small hole or rusted. And so at this point, for sure, the only fix is I have to replace the whole water heater. So anyway, that was the water heater. But I was also going to look at all the connections and the fittings that I need to install the new water heater that would be coming in. So this is a Kitec pipe. It's blue. That means it's cold water inlet, and this is some kind of Kitec fitting. And then this looks like this fitting. The opening of the fitting looks like it's a female, and then there's a cutoff valve here. It's a full port ball valve. Yeah, it's a full port ball valve cutoff, 3/4 inch. I think the brand is Watts. So and it's got some kind of a model number or something, FBV FBVS-3. So, or dash yeah, -3. So this is actually a sweat type of connection. So, and then this water inlet is also a sweat connection, but I want to replace this with not a sweat connection. I want to replace it with a, kind of connection that I can screw in, like a compression. I think it's called MIP, male inlet, or something like that. But it's a threaded connection, not a sweat connection. This is soldered on, like all sweat connections are soldered on. But I want to, have a solution that's actually not sweated on. So if this leaks, I can easily unscrew the new inlet and then replace it instead of having to desolder all of this. So the connections are, this is a Kitec pipe, some kind of Kitec fitting, and this opening here is, looks like it's a female, and then looks like this looks like a coupler to me, that couples this fitting with this ball valve. So this is Kitec female sweat coupler. Looks like it's a male coupler of some kind. Then this is a ball valve, 3/4 inch. Everything here is 3/4 inch. So Kitec fitting with a female sweat coupler, maybe with like a male coupler that goes from the inside. And then you have a ball valve with a female 3/4 inch, again female 3/4 inch sweat. All of this is sweat, which means it has to be soldered on. And then you have some kind of other coupler, which is, I think, a male coupler, male sweat. Then you have a T over here. T is a female 3/4, female 3/4. Then you have a male sweat 3/4 coupler. Down here you have a female opening for the T, and then maybe another coupler. And this is a 18-inch copper, 18-inch long copper sweat connection with a female on the side, and this copper connection comes all the way down into this expansion tank. And over here you have it's a MIP. This is a FIP. Looks like this is an FIP, female inlet, and just screws onto the male part over here. uh, and then over here this is a similar one, which is a sweat on this side 3/4, and down here it is FIP. This has got a washer inside, I think, maybe, and it's screws onto this male 3/4 inch nipple. That's the cold water. So this is on the cold water intake side. I'm going to be replacing this expansion tank too. And then on the output side, you have the hot water. Similarly, over here there's a female FIP 3/4 inch, 18-inch copper, goes into a sweat connection, and I'm going to be replacing this with it'll be FIP on both sides, 18-inch 3/4, and basically this is again the connection to the Kitec. So Kitec, this is a female, this is a male 3/4 inch coupler, and it goes into the female side of the water outlet. So this would have to all these sweat connections would have to be desoldered, and basically I'll need an adapter. Wherever I have a sweat connection, I'll need an adapter from sweat. So it'll have to be, if I desolder it from here, it'll have to be a sweat, but it'll have to be a male sweat to a male type of MIP basically. And then from here on everything should be threaded. So the only places where I'll need the couplers are over here. I'll need a coupler, and that's on the inlet water side, cold water side, and over here I'll need a coupler adapter that'll go from sweat to either it'll go from a male sweat to a male MIP. And this is a red color Kitec signifying hot water.